Good morning. Oh man, the sounds of the birds out here this morning are a lot. Wow. Well, today I'm definitely going to talk about fear. And I don't really mean about like phobias, because I have weird phobias. But fears, the fear of facing yourself, and also the fear of and how it manifests. For me, I think a lot of times fear manifests itself in really strange ways. And one way I'm thinking about is through people. I see people as mirrors of myself. And so when I feel like critical of somebody, if I feel like kind of like, God, that person just rubs me the wrong way or annoys me or something, my first response is to ask, what does that say about me? What is it about this person that is eliciting so much emotion? What is it about how this person is or is being that makes me feel defensive or inadequate? Because if it wasn't anything, I wouldn't feel anything. And so there's a fear, and that fear is masked by defensiveness and criticism. And when I unpack that, it's usually that person reminds me a lot about myself. Their actions at doing that I've done or currently doing that I regret. There's a lot of things in that. It's kind of funny, really, how much our reality is really just our perception. We are looking through these eyes, through these ears, through this mouth at the world and at people. So it stands to reason that it's going through our mind, it's going through our own consciousness. And so what do we have to learn about ourselves in these people that we're critical of or we feel a certain way about? Nothing is stagnant, right? Like nothing is just existing for existing's sake. There's always some kind of meaning. And even when I've messed around with, or in ceremony, psychedelics and whatnot in my youth and in the past, there are these moments where I see things as meaningless. It's almost like all the stories in my mind stop. And there's something for that awareness of understanding that, yes, in reality, this is just a cup, right? This is just tea, just water with leaves boiled from a tree. But when we are in the world and in our ego, everything has subconscious meaning or conscious meaning, and it's good to look at that. And fear is important because it tells you what you are scared of in yourself. For me, that's been I know that I have a fear of having to walk away from certain things and walk away from certain people. In the past, it was much easier for me to go off on my own journey and you know discard the past, work on myself, focus ahead. But now I find it difficult. I have formed attachments. I've lived in the world. I've built businesses. I've, done all this stuff just to realize that there are parts of that was performative, that were not really me. I was experimenting. I was trying this out. I was trying these costumes, these masks out to see what happens. Who I thought what leadership looked like, or I thought what being me looked like. And none of that, some of that mattered, some of that didn't. But in reality, I found authenticity within the experimentation. So I don't have any shame. But what the road ahead of me is full of obstacles and decisions I have to make and sacrifices I have to make for the sake of being in alignment with my purpose or my sacred mission or whatever you want to call it. What I'm here to do on this planet. What am I here to do to serve? You get to a point in your transformation or your embodiment, or when you start to integrate parts of yourself that you know to be authentic, that may go against the status quo, or may go against these things. But you have to embody those things. And you have to make a decision to embody those. And that may threaten your current life. And that's a fear. Stability, losing your livelihood for the sake of personal liberation. Because personal liberation sometimes is not tied with economic liberation. Just because you are now yourself doesn't mean you're going to be rewarded for it. Actually, the contrary may be true. And so when I'm having to step more into what I feel is this authentic self, I know there's going to be conflicts, and I know there's going to be moments where I have to actually make hard calls. But that's part of the process. I'm sharing this with you as a way of me reflecting, but also is because it's my purpose here. I love having conversations. I love thinking deeply. I love being this. I do this for free. Like, this is what I do. When I was working at a grocery store, this was the beauty of it, the conversations, the connections, the helping, seeing other people being liberated through my own process of being liberated and embodying what I was learning, what I'm learning in myself. It shouldn't be exclusive, right? You shouldn't look for gurus or these people who are saying they have everything figured out, because that's just not real. For the sake of liberation, everyone needs to be liberated. We are connected. Liberation isn't an isolated activity. And so, speaking in some camera to some couple of folks, that means a lot to me that I get to be here and do this. And the more I lean into these parts of myself that I feel resonate with my core, the more I feel at ease with my life. I feel focused. I feel disciplined. And I'm not going to hide my emotion. I'm not going to just, for your sake or for whoever's sake, I'm going to exist as I am. If that means I'm sad or I'm grieving, I'm going to let myself grieve. That means I'm angry. I'm going to let myself look angry. I won't harm, though. That's the one thing. I will not project on people and blame them for things that are happening internally inside. It is my responsibility to have boundaries with people, to my responsibility to who I choose and to have in my life. And sometimes those relationships leave, like I've mentioned. Sometimes they grow and are beautiful. And sometimes they exist. But we're all on our journeys. And fear is such a potent teacher. Fear allows us to see what it is we are hiding when we let ourselves move through it. The fear of existing as who I am, who I truly believe I am. And for those around, we have to step with courage. And that's what it means to have courage, is to face those fears. That's what it means. It means that even though you know that this decision may hurt your livelihood or hurt capitalism and the idea of capitalism, of grind culture, of all these things, that you're still willing to do it for the sake of yourself. Choosing you is probably the hardest thing to do. It's ironic because we're in an individualistic society, so choosing you may just be seen as a manifestation of individualism. Individualism isn't bad when seen in the holistic picture and the connections of everything. We need that for the new society that is going to emerge from whatever this is. We can't just radically disregard the benefits of individualism. It's what keeps us from not being resentful. It allows the ego to have a place that it feels connected to in community, in the collective. This idea of we're all closed off, though, like we all have walls around, that's a different story. We don't need more walls. So as I explore myself, I think of Chiron, the wounded healer. My good friend Lori Halliday had a whole masterclass about the wounded healer for other leaders. And I've meditated on that concept for so long. That the wisdom comes from the wounds. I may be grieving right now. I may be in pain right now. But that pain and that grieving and that struggle and those obstacles give me wisdom to be able to have empathy and compassion for others and to help others find their liberation. So being wounded is not a bad thing. It means that you're there. You're in the arena of life. You're pushing. You're doing the things. But just remember to take care, too. Rest. Don't get trapped in this machine where you're sitting on your deathbed thinking, why didn't I explore who I truly was in this life? Was I really showing up as myself, past the pain, beyond the suffering? There lies a part of us that we can learn from. The videos are kind of long, but if you're here with me right now and you've listened this far, know that you've done something that the majority of people will not do. You're testing the attention span of this reality. You're pushing the status quo of this culture by just being here with me right now, listening to philosophies, just reflections on life that may resonate with you. What a gift to be able to find videos of people talking, resonating. I would love to see more of that in reality. So I may do something. But if you've gone this far, hit me up. Let's have some tea. I got more than enough. And we'll chat. We'll just talk. Drink pu'er. Light up some sage. Hang out. Be with nature, or be in a space that is intentional or lovely. Thanks for listening. Hope your day is full of blessings. I hope you face the obstacles with grace. I pray that you find luck, that you're in the right place at the right time, where everything seems to be going your way, where you're connected in that flow and wisdom is speaking from birds and from people who you've never met. I hope you can see past this human-made capitalist machine and have time just to do nothing and reflect. Please do that for all of us. Thank you.